पूजनीय ठाकुर जी, माँ स्वामी जी को मेरा सादर प्रणाम। मंच पे विराजमान स्वामी सतेशानंद जी, स्वामी भीतिहरान जी को सादर प्रणाम। आप सभी जो मेरे सामने विराजमान हैं, आपको सादर नमन। At the outset, I must admit that I claim no scholarship or erudition on any of the subjects that the honorable gentleman who introduced me mentioned. And frankly, I am nervous in front of Swamiji. I have never had this occasion to share my thoughts before such enlightened souls. My situation is almost like that of a primary school kid, who's been put on the stage before the chief guest to say a few words. And my own association with Ramakrishna Mission dates back to almost 40 years. It was the year 1985 or 86. I was then a student of Thapar Institute doing my engineering, and we were fortunate that Swami Ranganathananji was visiting Patiala. I was a student in Patiala, he was visiting Patiala, and he was scheduled to address the students in Government Medical College Patiala. As luck would have it, we engineering college students were never invited to medical college, but I had a friend of mine who was part of the organizing committee. And he sort of asked me to come over and also help him with some of the backstage arrangements. So that was my lucky day when I first got to have darshan of Swami Ranganathanji. And that was my introduction to the Ramakrishna Mission. Honestly, I don't think I was able to grasp much of what the words of wisdom that he spoke that day. But there was one quote that he mentioned, one sentence that he mentioned, and that stuck to me. And that quote, which of course he further quoted Swami Vivekananda, was "Arise, awake, and stop not until the goal is reached." I'm sure all of you would have read this. Now that stuck to me. And subsequently, after my engineering, when I was preparing for my civil services, this was the quote that gave me motivation and inspiration to carry on, especially after I was not able to make it in my first attempt. So much so that I wrote this quote on a piece of paper and stuck it on the wall where I would study, and perhaps read it a dozen times on a day to get that inspiration from within to carry on. And the more I sort of think about it now, I think this is one saying which Swamiji would often repeat in his discourses, that has a message for all of us. If you are a sadhak, there's a message for you. If you are a karma yogi, there's a message for you. If you are a householder, there's a message for you. If you are a sannyasi, there is a message for you. And there's a message for the society. There's a message for the youth also in this. And if you sort of break it up further into the different components of this, the first is, of course, arise. Simply translated, utho. Everybody should arise. Now, for a sadhak, arise. For a karma yogi, arise, work. For a young man, work. For a householder, do your duty. Now, that is something which is very important for all of us. And as Lord Krishna says in Gita, and if I'm not wrong, it's 3.22 to 3.55, chapter 3rd, where he says that he did not do any action. There is nothing in this teen lok mein kuch nahi hai jo unko prapt karna hai, kuch nahi hai jo unko accomplish karna hai. But still at the same time, he is never in inaction. He is always in action. Because the point is that he says that if he were to do inaction, if he were not to do action, if he were not to do karma, then the whole universe will die. Now that is something that we all have to understand, that whether you are a sadhak, carry on with what you are doing. Get up. And when you, I mean, it's not only get up, it's about awakening. It's about awareness. If you are, I mean, उठो is not something alone. आपको जागना भी है. सिर्फ उठने से काम नहीं होगा, जागना भी है. साधक है, उसको जागना पड़ेगा. कर्मयोगी है, उसको जागना पड़ेगा. साधक को जागना पड़ेगा. जैसे again भगवान कृष्ण कहते हैं in 2.69 I think, where he says that the yogi is awake when everybody else is asleep. He is awake of what? He is awake of the fact that this Vidya Maya, this creation, is an illusion, and he has to be aware of that fact. That is the message for a yogi. But how a Karam yogi should interpret it is that he has to be aware that all his karma has to be for a selfless cause, as Swamiji was just saying. It has to be selfless. I mean, and the moment you get into selfless karma, you are actually getting into a situation where you are not attached to that particular karma. That is what is awareness. And of course, the third part is rest not until the goal is achieved. Now, this is about perseverance. No laziness. Just work, work, work throughout. You know, it's not the 100th blow that breaks a rock. It's the effort of 99 behind it that goes to break the rock. You know, it's not, if we are students, it's not what we've sort of read 2 days earlier or 3 days earlier that you just sort of write down on in the examination that gets you what you want to achieve. It's the effort that has gone for years and years together. So the point is that one has to carry on. Perseverance is the key. And that is what Gita tells us. This is what Swamiji has been, I mean, most of, if one were to read the messages of Swami Vivekananda, in almost every message he would quote, you know, shlokas from Gita. Every message, because that is the fountainhead. And of course, I'm sure you all are aware of this beautiful story about Swamiji, where, you know, a Christian missionary invited him to his library and want to sort of, you know, really tease Swamiji about it. And, you know, he put Bhagavad Gita under a pile of books, and Swamiji sort of saw it and said, well, you have discovered the truth, because you have realized that Gita is the base, it's the fountainhead of all religions, of all knowledge. It's the most ancient scriptures. And one thing which is most beautiful about Bhagavad Gita is that, you know, a lot of other scriptures that we read, they were revelations to our rishis, to our munis, or whether prophets or sons of God. But this is one text which says, Shri Bhagwanu Watch. This has come from the Lord himself. That's original. This is what the Lord himself says in his avatar. This is the beauty of Gita. And Gita, I mean, I'm sure all of you have read it. Primarily three streams, the Bhakti Yoga, the Karma Yoga, and the Gyan Yoga. Not necessarily in that order, but then a lot of people have this question that is one only to follow a particular path or a mixture of it. Well, the way I look at it is that it depends. It depends upon your situation. It depends upon your journey. And this journey is not only the journey of this lifetime. This journey is of ages. I mean, Lord Krishna again says in chapter 6 that a yogi carries forward his karma. So we all carry forward our karma. Wherever we leave our journey in this life, we will take it off from the next one. Now, what kind of journey what kind of, you know, mode of transport you have to take, what is that yoga that you have to follow, really depends. If I take an example, I mean, suppose you were to travel from here to the airport, probably the best thing is to travel by road. You have to travel from Delhi to New York, perhaps you take the aircraft. You are living on the left bank of Ganges and you want to go to the right bank, perhaps the right mode of transport is a boat. Now, three things here. One is the medium. It could be road, it could be air, it could be water. The second is the vehicle. It could be an automobile, it could be an aircraft, it could be a boat. The third is, of course, the energy source. Whether it is diesel, petrol, or these days you have electrical vehicles also. That is an energy source for the automobile. I mean, for aircraft, it's always the air turbine fuel. And of course, if you are in the boat, engine भी हो सकता है, या जो boatman है, उसकी अपनी energy भी हो सकती है, जो आपको चप्पू चला के लेके जाएगा. Depends where you have to go, from where you start, what is it that you want. That would determine what kind of mode of transport you use. And at the same time, suppose you were to do a journey, say from here to an island in Andamans, you would probably, use all the three combinations. You could probably take the road transport from here to the airport, take a flight to Port Blair, and from Port Blair probably take a ferry to the island. So you are taking all the three modes of transport. So what I'm trying to say here is that what Gita tells us is that whether it is Karam Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, or Gyan Yoga, as far as a journey is concerned, it's to each his own. It really depends on your own self. What suits you, where you are. It could be a mix of all three. It could be a mix of all two. For a lot of us here who are sitting here, probably it's a mixture of Bhakti Yoga and Karam Yoga. Or since a lot of us are householders, probably for some who are into sadhana, it could be Gyan Yoga and Karam Yoga. It could be a mix of both of these. And when you talk of Karam Yoga, I think really the shlok that comes to mind is Karmanye Vadikaraste Ma Phalishu Kudachan Ma Karmate Sangostav Karmani. That is the shlok that comes to mind. Again, 2.47 Bhagavad Gita. But what also we should look at is that when Lord tells Arjun in chapter 3, and chapter 3, 4, 5 are really the ones which focus on and are a detailed description of the Karam Yoga. When Lord tells Arjun that he has to carry out action always and selfless action. That is the key. 3.09, selfless action is the key. And Swamiji would always say in his discourses, focus on selfless action. And thereafter, if you go into chapter 4, Lord also tells Arjun that when you are carrying out your action, be mindful of what is a good action, what is a bad action, and what is inaction. These are three things, again, that you need to sort of differentiate. Now, what I've also sort of realized is that a lot of times when you have to, when looking for meanings, because Srimad Bhagavad Gita, I've always felt is that each one of us has our own interpretation of the Gita when we read it. And the second is, even as an individual, depending upon your state of mind, depending upon your age, depending upon your circumstances, the same shloka gives you a different message. The idea is you have to grasp that. But one thing is for sure, that there is no question in this world which does not have an answer which is embedded in the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita has solutions and answers to all your queries, all your questions. And a lot of times what I have realized is that if you really want to understand some of these concepts which are embedded in the Bhagavad Gita, आप रामचरितमानस को भी देख सकते हैं. And one thing which I say is that रामचरितमानस में तुलसीदास जी ने मानवता पे एक बहुत बड़ा उपकार किया. तुलसीदास जी ने क्या किया कि दो बातें की उन्होंने. पहली बात कि जो भगवान राम की कहानी रामायण में वाल्मीकि जी ने संस्कृत में लिखी थी, उन्होंने उसको अवधी भाषा में दे दिया. बिकॉज उस समय जो भाषा हम लोगों को मालूम थी वो अवधी थी. शायद वो अवधी भाषा हम लोगों के लिए आज एलियन है, तो हम लोगों को शायद इंग्लिश और नॉर्मल हिंदी का इस्तेमाल करना पड़े. एंड द सेकेंड वॉज व्हाट Ramcharitmanas is. Ramcharitmanas is not just a narration of the story of Lord Ram. It has been, what Tulsidas ji has done is, he has very beautifully interwoven the philosophy of Srimad Bhagavad Gita into Ramcharitmanas. That is the beauty of that text, in a very, very simple way. And if you, and what I say is that if, Upanishad, Ved, the चारों वेद जो हैं, they gave us the framework in which we have to spend our lives, how we live in this world. Upanishads were explanations of these Vedas. Gita सभी उपनिषदों का सार है. And what Tulsidasi did was that in Ramcharitmanas he interwove also, if I may say so, the Gyan of Gita and the Bhakti of Srimad Bhagavad Purana. So it's a beautiful text. And if I were to just focus on Karam Yoga here, there's a very beautiful verse, Chaupai, which comes in Shri Ramcharitmanas. And the story is like this, that जब भगवान राम वन में चले जाते हैं, उनको वनवास हो जाता है, भरत जी उनको मनाने जाते हैं. जब भरत जी उनको मनाने जाते हैं तो देवताओं को यह संशय हो जाता है कि भगवान भरत जी पर बहुत प्रीति करते हैं, कहीं ये तो नहीं होगा कि भगवान इनकी बात सुन के मान के वापस आ जाएंगे। अगर ये वापस आ गए तो रावण को कौन मारेगा। सो देवता सब लोग मां सरस्वती के पास जाते हैं कि मां, जैसे आपने मंथरा की बुद्धि को फेरा था, भरत जी का भी मन कुछ पलट दो। तो फिर गुरु बृहस्पति उनको समझाते हैं कि आप गलत जगह पे सोच रहे हो अटैक करने की, भरत जी के साथ छेड़छाड़ मत करना। भरत जी राम जी को बहुत प्रिय हैं। एक बहुत ब्यूटीफुल चौपाई आती है कि भरत सरिस को राम से नहीं, जग जप राम राम जप जेही। भरत जी से ज्यादा प्यारा राम जी को कौन हो और कौन होगा। पूरा जगत तो राम जी को जपता है और राम जी भरत को जपते हैं। वहां पे फिर जब गुरु बृहस्पति देवताओं को समझाते हैं तब वो एक चौपाई कहते हैं जिसमें पूरे कर्मयोग का सार आता है कि कर्म प्रधान विश्व करे राखा, जो जस करे सो तस फल चाखा। कि भगवान ने इस विश्व को में कर्म को प्रधान रखा है और बड़ा सिंपल कर दिया कि जो जैसा करता है, जो जस करे सो तस फल चाखा। और इससे पहले एक और प्रसंग आता है बहुत अच्छा, जिसमें यही कर्म योग की बात आती है। उसमें यह है कि जब कैकेयी मां भगवान को आदेश देती हैं कि आप वन में जाइए, तो जो बात अभी भगवान कृष्ण ने 4.17 में कही थी, शुभ और अशुभ कर्म वाली, वही बात यहां पे आती है, विच सेज के शुभ और अशुभ कर्म अनुसारी ईस दई फल हृदय विचारी। कि शुभ और अशुभ कर्म को देखकर ही ईश जो है, ईश्वर जो है, उसका फल आपको देते हैं। और करे सो कर्म पाव फल सोई, निगम नेति ऐसे कह सब कोई। कि जो कर्म करता है वही फल पाता है। हालांकि इसके बाद तुलसीदास जी एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग दोहा लिखते हैं, जिसमें वो कहते हैं कि ये कुछ अजीब लग रहा है कि भगवान को और सीता जी को वनवास मिल रहा है, लेकिन ये थोड़ी लंबी कहानी है, यू नो, एंड द बैकग्राउंड इज स्लाइटली मोर, आई वोंट रियली गो इनटू दैट हियर, बट सब्सिक्वेंटली the chopai that I would like to share with you here is, which to my mind really encapsulates the entire कर्म योग। और उसमें प्रसंग ये आता है कि जब भगवान वन में जा रहे हैं और पहली रात जो वो वन में गुजारते हैं, श्रृंगबेरपुर क्रॉस करने के बाद, टेक्निकली पहली रात वो तमसा तीर के नदी पे गुजारते हैं, लेकिन तमसा वाज स्टिल एट दैट टाइम पार्ट ऑफ द अयोध्या किंगडम। पहली रात जो वो टेक्निकली उसमें वन में गुजारते हैं, वो जब वो श्रृंगबेरपुर में गंगा जी को पार करके वन की साइड में चले जाते हैं। वहां निषाद राज के साथ लक्ष्मण जी बैठते हैं और निषाद राज को बहुत विषाद होता है कि यू नो, भगवान के साथ ये क्या हो रहा है। भगवान और सीता जी तो इसके पात्र नहीं थे। तो वहां पे लक्ष्मण जी निषाद का विषाद दूर करने के लिए एक बहुत सुंदर चौपाई बोलते हैं। वो कहते हैं, काहू न कऊ सुख दुख कर दाता, निज कृत कर्म भोग सब भ्राता। Just listen to this चौपाई again and again, because I'll repeat it for you, कि काहू न कऊ सुख दुख कर दाता, निज कृत कर्म भोग सब भ्राता। कोई किसी को सुख नहीं देता, कोई किसी को दुख नहीं देता, हर इंसान अपना कर्म भोगता है। हर इंसान अपना कर्म भोगता है। It's a beautiful चौपाई, and if you just contemplate on it, you will realize that this really, you know, to my mind, this has two very, very important messages for us. The first is sukh और dukh, the dualities of life, जो जिंदगी के द्वंद्व हैं, सुख दुख, पाप पुण्य, राग द्वेष, ये सब जो हैं, ये द्वंद्व हैं। Ultimately, the objective has to be to transcend these dvandvs, to transcend these dualities of life. द्वंद्वातीत बनिए। That is the goal that Lord Krishna gives to all of us. And the second is that you are the one who does everything. करते आप हो, निजकृत कर्म भोग सब भ्राता, अपना किया हुआ कर्म है। The issue is that you are moving towards, you know, it's take responsibility for what you do. That's very important. मैं ही अपने सुख और दुख का कारण हूं, कोई नहीं है मेरे सुख दुख का कारण। So दो चीजें समझिए। पहली तो कि सुख और दुख क्या है, डुअलिटीज ऑफ लाइफ, एंड द सेकंड इज कारण इसका मैं ही हूं। ब्यूटिफुल. यू नो द पॉइंट इज दैट जो सर्कमस्टांसेस हैं, जो परिस्थिति है, circumstances, what are circumstances? Circumstances are essentially people, objects, place, time. These are circumstances. You have no control over these. Nobody has control over these circumstances. But what, so परिस्थिति पे आपका कंट्रोल नहीं है, लेकिन आप किसको कंट्रोल कर सकते हो? मन की स्थिति को कंट्रोल कर सकते हो आप. परिस्थिति पे कंट्रोल नहीं है, लेकिन मन स्थिति पे कंट्रोल है आपका. और ये मन की स्थिति जो है, यही डिटरमिन करती है आपके कर्म को. बिकॉज द वे यू एक्ट एंड द वे यू रिएक्ट becomes your karma. Lot of time people ask, why am I here on this earth? मेरा बर्थ क्यों हुआ, कैसे हुआ, क्यों हुआ? So the answer really, I'm sorry स्वामी जी मैं आपके आगे ऐसी बात कर रहा हूँ. I hope I am, yeah. So the answer is really that I've sort of heard from Swamiji's and others is that it's essentially based on your sanchit karma. So karma are of three kinds. One is sanchit karma, the ones that you have accumulated over your lifetimes, you know, पिछले जन्मों के, इस जन्मों के. The second is your prarabdha, what you are living right now. Those karmas which have been activated, those determine आप इस जन्म में क्या बनेंगे. आप कीट पतंग बनेंगे, आप मच्छर बनेंगे, आप मनुष्य योनि लेंगे. मनुष्य योनि में आप स्वस्थ होंगे, किससे घर में होंगे, किस कुल में पैदा होंगे, आपका कौन जीवन कैसे चलेगा, ये आपका प्रारब्ध है. Those karmas which have been activated and जो आप भोग रहे हैं. And the third is what is called आगामी कर्म, जो कर्म आप इस जीवन में कर रहे हैं, जिसकी बात लक्ष्मण जी ने अभी की है, जिसकी बात लक्ष्मण जी ने. Now the issue is that how do I get out of this? How do I get out of this cycle of birth and death? ये जो मेरा कर्म बंधन है, ये कैसे टूटेगा? वो तब टूटेगा अगर आप अपने आगामी कर्मों पे कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं. एंड आगामी कर्मों पे कंट्रोल कैसे होगा? व्हेन यू हैव सेल्फलेस वर्क, व्हेन योर कर्मास आर सेल्फलेस, व्हेन योर कर्मास आर डिजायरलेस, देन दे हैव नो इम्पैक्ट ऑन व्हाट यू डू. दैट इज व्हाट स्वामी जी वुड टेल अस, कि आपका जो होना चाहिए, which is what again Lord Krishna tells us in perhaps 2.50, where he says yoga karma su kaushalam. Incidentally, that is also the motto of my service. Yoga karma su kaushalam. Skill in action is work. What is that skill in action? Skill in action is being away from attachments to this work. Selfless work is that skill in action. That is what Lakshman ji is trying to tell us. And I think what Lakshman ji is trying to tell us that if you realize these two aspects, then you, तब आपके मन की स्थिति होगी जो इक्वानिमिटी ऑफ माइंड हम कहते हैं, मन का संतुलन बनेगा. And you know, stories, whether it is Mahabharata or Ramayana, they are not mere stories or the characters, they come up with a message. And if you have to look at anybody who has lived his life according to Vedas, and this is what I say that वेदास में अगर फ्रेमवर्क था कैसे जिंदगी जीनी है, भगवान राम ने अपने जीवन में हमें करके दिखाया that this is something which is possible. So our scriptures are not merely theoretical. They don't merely give us a theoretical framework. They also tell us that the framework is operational, it is practical, people can live through it. That is what Ramji did. And if you sort of see through his लाइफ जर्नी, उस अवतार की जर्नी को अगर आप देखेंगे, so look at the kind of journey that Ramji has. He is perhaps 12 or 13 years of age. जब विश्वामित्र जी आते हैं उनके पास, भगवान महाराज दशरथ के पास, और कहते हैं कि आप राम जी को हमें दे दीजिए. Ramji doesn't, you know, he's about 12 or 13, 14 years of age, teenager. Can you ask any teenager to go with somebody today? No. Ramji very coolly goes. विश्वामित्र जी कहते हैं ताड़का को मारो, ताड़का को मार दिया. विश्व जी कहते हैं मारीच को मारो, मारीच को मार दिया. No attachment to any action. Total equanimity of mind. अहिल्या से मिले, गुरु जी ने कहा अहिल्या को उद्धार कर दो, अहिल्या को उद्धार कर दिया. No attachment. But some of the verses that come out very beautifully is during सीता स्वयंवर. जब सीता स्वयंवर में भगवान जाते हैं विश्वामित्र जी के साथ, and the धनुष is there, बाकी राजा सब लोग आते हैं, उठते हैं, कोशिश करते हैं उठाने की, नहीं उठा पाते. तो फिर विश्वामित्र जी वहां पे एक बहुत अच्छी सुंदर चौपाई कहते हैं कि उठो राम भंजो शिव चापा, मेट उतात जनक परितापा। कि राम उठो, शिव जी का धनुष तोड़ो और जनक का जो संताप है उसको दूर करो। बिकॉज जनक जी को तब तक चिंता होने लग गई थी कि कोई तोड़ ही नहीं रहा, कि सीता जी का बनेगा क्या। सो उस समय कहते कि सुन गुरु बचन चरण सिर नावा, हर्ष विषाद न कछु उर आवा। सच अ ब्यूटिफुल चौपाई कि सुन गुरु बचन चरण सिर नावा, हर्ष विषाद न कछु उर आवा। ना हर्ष है ना विषाद है ना। तो otherwise think of it this way also, कि he could have been in a very excited state. He was a young man, that here is a princess who's very beautiful and there is a challenge. Why shouldn't I be the first one to take up that challenge? अगर पहले कोई और धनुष तोड़ गया तो मेरा क्या बनेगा? He is not excited. He waits for the time till his guru asks him to do it. Total equanimity, total discipline. And then हर्ष नहीं है कि मेरा मौका आ गया, कॉन्फिडेंट ऑफ स्किल कि मैं तो तोड़ ही दूंगा धनुष को। हर्ष नहीं है, नर्वसनेस भी नहीं है कि अगर ना टूट पाया धनुष तो क्या होगा। तो ना हर्ष है ना विषाद है, टोटल इक्वानिमिटी ऑफ माइंड है। दिस इज व्हाट वी सॉर्ट ऑफ नीड टू लर्न। एंड अगेन when Maharaj Darshath announces his coronation, he doesn't get excited. And when he's asked to go to exile, he says fine. तो कहते हैं कि मन मुस्काए भानुकुल भानु, राम सहज आनंद निधानु। कि तब भी जब उन्होंने कहा तो मन में मुस्काए कि ठीक है चलते। And he does his entire life, his entire karma without any attachment. बाली को मारना है without any rancor, रावण को मारना है without any rancor, no feelings, total equanimity. Another character that I would, Swami, do I have 5 minutes? Yeah. Another character that is very important, which I thought I must share with you all, is Hanuman ji. हनुमान जी ने अपने कैरेक्टर से हमें भक्ति योग और कर्म योग का मिश्रण सिखाया। हनुमान जी वॉज अ टोटल भक्त ऑफ राम जी। एंड व्हाट हनुमान जी हैड डन वाज, उन्होंने अपने सभी कर्म भगवान को समर्पित कर दिए थे कि मेरा तो जो भी कुछ है वो भगवान के प्रति है। The first instance that we sort of that catches our attention is in Sundarkand, when Hanumanji takes that leap to cross the ocean and land in Lanka. तो मैनाक पर्वत rises to give rest to Hanuman ji. तो वहां पे बहुत सुंदर दोहा आता है कि हनुमान तहि पर साकर पुन कीन प्रणाम, राम काज कीने बिना मोहि कहां विश्राम। Can we hear the echoes of stop not until the goal is reached? That's the echo. राम काज कीने बिना मोहि कहां विश्राम। जब तक मेरा काज पूरा नहीं होता मेरे को विश्राम नहीं है, मेरे को भूख नहीं है। एंड इफ यू लुक एट द टाइमलाइन, इट्स वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग कि हनुमान जी ने सबसे पहले रेस्ट कब किया। इसके बाद आफ्टर ही कंप्लीट्स द टास्क विच इज सीता की सुध लेनी। जब तक उन्होंने सीता माता की सुध नहीं ली, उनसे इंट्रोडक्शन नहीं हो गई, उनको कन्विंस नहीं कर दिया, तब तक उन्होंने रेस्ट नहीं किया, कुछ खाया पिया भी नहीं। एंड इफ यू लुक एट द टाइमलाइन, इट्स ऑलमोस्ट 2 days. It's almost 2 days that he does that. And when he comes back and Ram ji tells him कि आप लंका को भी जलाया या सब कुछ कराया, आपने ये कैसे किया? So he says, सो सब तब प्रताप रघुराई, नाथ न कछु मोर प्रभुताई। कि तो सब भगवान आप ही का है, मैंने तो कुछ किया ही नहीं। Complete surrender of his entire action towards the Lord. Total detachment. That is what Hanuman ji tells us. And if you look at Lakshman ji on the other hand, लक्ष्मण जी का अलग लेवल था। लक्ष्मण जी ने तो 14 साल तक सोए ही नहीं, क्योंकि उन्होंने अपने भगवान को प्रति समर्पण था। एंड ही हैड टू, बिकॉज ही थॉट हिज ड्यूटी वाज टू लुक आफ्टर हिज लॉर्ड एंड माता सीता। वो 14 बरस सोए ही नहीं, और उनका जो समर्पण था वो था कि मोरे सभई एक तुम स्वामी, दीन बंधु और अंतर्जामी। सब कुछ भगवान को समर्पण कर रखा था। So, you know, I always say that if one has to look at some of these pearls of wisdom that are there in Bhagavad Gita, and you want to try to assimilate them through a different form, look at Ramcharitmanas. And I'll conclude by giving one small example of that, which is again my favorite shlok from the Bhagavad Gita, which is 18.66, which is often called the Charam Shlok of Bhagavad Gita, because this is the last shlok that Bhagwan says. After that, it's more about concluding and wrapping up the Bhagavad Gita, which is Sarv Dharman Paritajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraj Aham Tva Sarvapebhyo Mokshishami Ma Shuchai. 4 elements in this. First of all, Sarv Dharman Paritajya. Sabhi dharmon ko chhod. I'll come to the definition of dharma here later on. Then it is question of Sharanam, which is refuge. Then it says, मैं आपको सभी sin से मुक्त कर दूंगा. And the fourth is, don't grieve. शोक मत करना. Now, if you also look at Ramcharitmanas, I'll first say those chopais and then try to interlink them. सुंदरकांड में जब विभीषण भगवान से मिलने आते हैं, तो सुग्रीव पहले कहते हैं कि भगवान हम इनको बंदी ले लेते हैं. तो भगवान जवाब देते हैं कि सखा कही तुम नीक बिचारी ममपन शरणागत भय हारी, कि मेरा प्रण है कि मैं जो शरणागत आता है उसके भय को हर लेता हूं. The second is that he says that कोट विप्र बदल आगे जाहू आए शरण तजो नहीं काहू सन्मुख होए जीव मोहि जब ही जन्म कोट अगनासी तब ही. And then he says कि जो नर होए चराचर द्रोही आवे सबे शरण तक मोही. Now is the sense he says तज मद मोह कपट छल नाना करूं सद्य तहि साधु समाना. Now I would link it to the definition of dharma. Dharma here is not religion, and I always say calling dharma religion is the poorest translation of the word dharma. Dharma could be righteousness, could be duty, but to my mind dharma is the innate quality that defines you. And to us humans, the innate quality or the feature that defines us is the presence of kam, krodh, lobh, moh, ahankar. This is what defines us when we are in this world. And Bhagwan says कि इनको तज के मेरे पास आओ. That is the dharma that Bhagwan wants us to shed. और यही आप अगर रामचरितमानस देखें तो वो कहते हैं कि तज मद मोह कपट छल नाना. So the point is that Swami Ji, Bhagavad Gita, Ramcharitmanas, you link them up, they're beautiful. But the important point is that Bhagavad Gita was written in the ancient times. Ramcharitmanas is a product of the medieval times. Swamiji's discourses are modern times, modern age. But the philosophical message is the same. This is the strength of our tradition. This is the strength of our heritage, that the philosophical thread has not broken. And as Swami Vivekananda used to say, how does one ought to live in this world? He would say, with love in your heart, which is bhakti in your heart, and work in your hands. That is how we should be living it. Thank you so much. Om Shri Ram. Namami, Namami, Namami.